Well, holy crap. It's January 1st, 2021. And what do you want to bet that every single video that comes out from like every wannabe trainer and expert is going to be on maintaining New Year's resolutions. And I was going to do it. I was going to do it on dieting and sticking to programs and things of that nature. But then I thought about it. I'm like, well, who the hell am I to really talk about that? Like, I have 260 subscribers after a year of making these videos. So obviously my message isn't really resonating with anybody. And the people that I do talk to, well, you guys all know how to train and you all know how to diet. So what do you need me for? Yeah, and I started getting depressed and thinking, poor me. Why isn't this working? How come I can't figure it out? You know, I consider myself an existentialist, I guess. That's a philosophical theory or approach which, emphasizes the existence of the individual as a free and responsible agent determining their own development through acts of the will, which explains why I'm a libertarian and, I believe in the sovereignty of the individual. And I don't really want to get into politics, but, basically I believe that we're responsible for ourselves and, good, bad, or indifferent. It's up to us to change ourselves and focus on ourselves before we try to change the world and focus on trying to force other people to adhere to, our beliefs or our absurd morality, whatever that may be. So basically, if you got a problem, it's up to you to solve it. It's not anyone else's fault. We're not victims. We're volunteers, if that makes sense. So I'm going to reference some of the stuff written by Dabrowski and Yalom, 1996 and 1980 respectively. Existential depression is a depression that arises when an individual confronts certain basic issues of existence. Yalom describes four such issues, or ultimate concerns, if you will: death, freedom, isolation, and meaninglessness. That's the four things that an existentialist confronts. Or rather, an existentialist confronts those four things using a certain philosophy. Death, for example, is an inevitable occurrence. Inevitable. Freedom, in an existential sense, refers to the absence of external structure. Basically meaning, the ultimate freedom would be like a homeless person who answers to no one, has no rules, and governs himself. Maybe, I don't know if that's a good example, but you get the idea. Humans do not enter a world which is inherently structured. When we're born, we just pop into the world and there we are. We have to give the world a structure which we ourselves create, according to the existentialists. Isolation recognizes that no matter how close we become to another person, a gap always remains and we are nonetheless alone. Meaninglessness, which is something I struggle with, stems from the first three. If you have to die, if you have to construct this world and you're not, which you didn't ask to be in, and if each of us is ultimately alone, well, then what the hell point does life have to begin with? What's the point of it all? Well, the way I deal with it, the way that I deal with this existential depression is to try to find meaning. The absurdity of life. The only way to embrace the absurdity of life is to find meaning. There's a poem written, he's an African-American poet, not that that matters, but Langston Hughes wrote, "Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams die, life is broken winged bird that cannot fly. Hold fast to dreams, for if dreams go, life is a barren field covered with snow. It's a pretty simple poem, but I don't know. Isn't that really what New Year's resolutions are all about? We have this goal, this shortcoming, this thing we don't like about our lives, and we've picked January 1st as the target. We get to live solipsistically, and we get to embrace our addictions and our shortcomings for a couple more months. But January 1st, damn it, we're going to make all those changes. And, what usually happens? Well, the tendency is we give it a good go for a week or two, and like everything else, it just falls short because we don't really want to do it. We don't want to do it. It's much more comfortable to live our lives the way it is. Quiet desperation, wishing things would be better, but not having, the discipline or the drive to see it through. And this is how much of a egotist I am. I'm having my existential depression thinking about, my New Year's resolutions. I've already in my mind failed and gone through the 5 stages of, grief before January 1st even happens. And then what am I doing for my video? January 1st, I'm talking about existential depression as if I've already given up on my goals before I've even started them. And I'm just thinking, God, life is so stupid. And it is. Life is stupid. We didn't ask to be here. We are, everything from having to pay taxes to the laws that we have to adhere to, whether we agree with the government or not, whether we voted for whoever is president or, which side of the fence you're on. It's like none of us chose to be here. And we're all looking for someone or something to blame our problems on. And as usual, the answer to all of our problems are to turn that inwards and look to ourselves. I'm telling you right now, if you can learn to accept people, places, and things for exactly the way they are, the way they're supposed to be, whether you like them or not, acceptance is really the key. And you turn that inward and you just focus on what you can do as a person to make your own life better. And you struggle to find meaning, usually by picking up the heaviest thing that you can muster to carry, metaphorically speaking, and shouldering that burden, your life will improve exponentially. And it will do that despite whether or not your external circumstances change. You could still be living in the same house, with the same people, doing the same crappy job, driving the same car you hate, to work in the same shitty traffic that you can't stand being in. But the second you start looking to yourself to make positive changes, and you only focus on yourself as the cause and cure of all your problems, your life will improve exponentially. And the battle for people that have the issues like I have, which is like clinical depression, things of that nature, is we have to constantly make the choice every day. It seems like I never get to a place where I can just rest and be. And because life just keeps coming at you. It just keeps swinging. So the big problem I'm having, my existential crisis, is why after a year and only amassing 260 subscribers do I still continue to make these videos. Because it's so disheartening every day to log in and find that I've maybe gathered 1 or 2 subscribers after a week. And God forbid, if sometimes I lose a subscriber, and when you only have like 260 of them, that hurts right in the feels, man. It's like, oh man, you couldn't just keep me as a subscription. You got 100,000 of them. Like, what do you care? Just why did you have to unsubscribe? So that means like somebody had to choose to unsubscribe. So I said something that either offended someone or they're just sick of what I'm putting out. And I looked at all my videos and I'm like, yeah, well, honestly, 90% of my videos are the same damn video over and over again. So you've seen one, you've seen them all. Guy's benching in his garage. Oh, another one. No, did he PR? Oh, 5 pounds more than last time. Great. So most of my views, I was looking at the channel statistics, and most of my views are through the shorts, and most of those views are just people that are flipping through, so they're not even watching the whole video. And then I got to thinking, like, well, let's look at that. Like, I keep making these shorts because they do get the most views, but considering that when I break down the analytics of the channel, nobody's actually watching the videos, like, why do I keep trying to pander to that demographic? Well, the first thing I did was I was always trying to correlate, like, what got the most views. And for a while there, I thought it was, I was titling my videos to, I don't know, focus on my age, over 45 or old man or something of that nature. Like, I obviously am not that old. I don't feel that old. But for sports competitors, I am. I'm considered old for a person that is still competing. So I thought that that would be catchy, and I thought I was correlating the most views for those of my titles. But then looking at the way the numbers pan out, there's no correlation there. So I made a list of all the videos that I have that have had over 1,000 views, and I made a list of all the videos I had that have had like under 30. And these are just the shorts. These aren't the long ones. My long videos rarely get over 30 views, so I'm not really reaching an audience. Like, if I just say whatever I want in these things, and it doesn't matter. But I figured, I'll stay on topic. Anyway, so I noticed no correlation whatsoever. The videos that got the least amount of views are the same as the videos that got the most amount of views. And so that means it's random. It means it doesn't matter how I'm tagging them or how I'm titling them. It's all about whether or not they catch the attention of the person that's flipping through the shorts. So if it's random on their end, it's going to be random on my end. And so how does YouTube keep us cranking these shorts out? So we understand that it hijacks the dopamine system on the user end, meaning, like, it's like a slot machine. For every 10 or 15 that they flip through, they get one that rewards them. And then if it notices, it tracks whether or not you watch that video, and then it will recommend more like that. Well, it's the same thing on the creator end. So you get that one video that has over 1,000 views, and you keep making more and more of those, and maybe you get a subscriber or two, but it's not going to continuously reward you. So one gets 1,000 views, one gets 600 views, and then you're down to 30 views and 20 views, but you're constantly checking it, hoping that the last one you just made is popping off. And if it does, you're like, oh, I'll make another one just like that. And then that doesn't get you any success, but just when you're about to give up, another one pops off. So it's like a slot machine. You're pulling the lever, you lose, you lose, you lose, you lose. You're about to give up, and you win something. Maybe not a lot, but just enough to keep you playing. And then you lose, and you lose, and you lose, and you lose, and then you win. So making these shorts is just like playing a slot machine. And now I understand. Now I can see it for what it is. I'm addicted to making these shorts because it's designed to be addictive, and it's designed to keep me making them. And I'm not getting anywhere as a content creator because I'm not creating the content I want to create. I'm creating content with the hopes that something I make will go viral, and because I want to get monetized, and I have this dream of someday making a channel that people will want to watch, and I'll get a following. Except for I'm not creating content that I want to create to get that following, so it's irrelevant anyways, and I just keep going in this mindfuck circle, which then brings me back to what we're talking about today. I get depressed, I lose a subscriber, I don't get any subscribers, my videos don't get any views, and then I get to the point of, like, why do I keep doing this? What is the point? And now we're talking about existential depression. My whole worldview has been built around this. I've secluded myself in my garage. I'm not going out anymore. I'm not training with other people. And I'm looking to this little plastic box with a screen on it to feed me my dopamine hits. And I'm an addict. It's everything. It meets all the requirements of addiction. Take a deep breath. Get back to making these long form videos where I talk about the things I want to talk about, and I discuss the things I want to discuss. And if I fail or if I succeed, it's going to be done on my own merit, and I'm just not going to stress about it. I'm going to leave the results to the universe. I'm going to do my best, and I'm just not going to have any expectations on how it turns out. And that's, I think, really how we should approach life in general. And it's how I approach life in general. I do the things I'm supposed to do to take care of the things that I need to take care of. And I leave the results up to God, up to the universe. And I just focus on the things that are important. And that kind of brings us back again to New Year's resolutions. What can I say about New Year's resolutions? From a guy that can barely manage his own life. Whatever you do, don't give up before the miracle happens. Stay with it long enough to see some kind of results, good or bad, because it's all useful data. If anything, you could stay with something long enough to find out what doesn't work. And if you guys are on diets, if that's your resolutions, the scale is not your friend. The scale lies to you. If anything, use the mirror. Use the opinions of your friends, your loved ones. They'll tell you. They'll see the differences long before you will. And, your weight's going to fluctuate so much during the day that you really need to track your weight for weeks, not days. I have a good friend, Chrissy, and she's always dieting, and she's always giving up because she'll step on the scale and see she put 5 pounds on the next day. And I keep trying to tell her that's water weight. That's not, you can't lose fat. You can't lose 5 pounds of fat in a day, and you can't gain 5 pounds in a day either. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks for listening. I love you guys. If I can be of any assistance to anyone, you guys need any help, hit me up. I'll do whatever I can. I appreciate it.